Okay, we're back. And so what we're going to do this time, so now what we're going to do is get your computers ready to go. Can't teach you anything until you have a working system. If you have a MacBook, which I only see two. I see two people with a MacBook. I have three? No, that's just a silver book. No, I got one in the back. Yeah, we got three. We got three people in out of what? No, four. Yeah, four. Anyway, doesn't really matter how many. If you were, actually, there's a lot of you guys, you were in my Objective-C programming course. If you're in that course, we're in that course, you're already ready to go. Let me just show you what you got here. If you open up Xcode, I'm not going to be using this because a majority of you guys are Windows people. If you go into the Xcode new menu, and if you go into project or into, well, I was just on that screen. If you go into project, or if you go into, wait a minute, let's go back. I found it earlier. New file. Let's go into file. You can build a project that is of C or C++. You're going to be using C or C++. There's a little trick, however, and I showed you this in the Objective-C course. You can actually program iOS and OS X with C or C++ in an iOS format. So you can use Objective-C project type and write C++ code and C code, but it's kind of confusing for anyone who's looking at it. Better to go in and just pick as an example down here or up here if you're on an iOS. Don't worry about iOS. We're not doing GUI in this course. No GUI. But you can pick down here on the OS X category. Here's going to be your header files, your C++ class files, your C files. So you just pick the file type. If you download one of the examples that I'm going to show you, you double click on it, you're on a MacBook, it's going to open it up in Xcode. No problem. You can use Xcode for it. C is C is C. C++ is C++. Doesn't matter what system you're on. When you're submitting source code files to me, you're going to zip them up together. You're going to give me the .c, .h, or .c++ files. I'm not going to get any binary files from you. Don't need any project files from you either. So that's what you're going to do if you're on a MacBook. You can also actually use Eclipse on a MacBook if you want. And if you're going to use Eclipse, I use Eclipse for Android. I don't really use Eclipse for Java, but excuse me, for C++. But if I go Eclipse C++, you can come in here and download. If you have the one for Java and for Android, it's not going to include the C++. It's going to essentially require you to download another version of the Eclipse IDE. If this is just for Mac people, by the way, just for Mac people. So you can use Eclipse for it. If you have the Xcode installed, and you don't want to use Xcode, but you want to use Notepad or a text editor, and GCC, you have it already as well. Let me show you how to get it. If you go into Preferences from Xcode, go and click on the Downloads menu. You need this guy here, Command Line Tools. If you have Command Line Tools installed, then you open up the terminal window and you type in GCC. And what you get is a compiler. No input files. Yeah, I know. You also get G++ and C++, which are three separate compilers. It's all standard C, so it works in this class as well. So GCC will work with C or C++. G++ works with C++. C++ is a different dialect. Pretty much the same, pretty equivalent to C++. So if you don't have Xcode installed, you don't have GCC installed. You can install, in the old days you should be able to install GCC without Xcode. You can't do it anymore, you just install Xcode. Where do you get Xcode from if you're brand new? You get it from the Apple Store. Do not download it from, I've had students do this, which is why I'm showing this to you. Do not download it from the internet and install it if you're on a MacBook. Instead, go into here and type in Xcode. This is the Apple Store, and you'll see a little icon for it. Actually, I just checked for updates. Here it is here, Xcode Development Tool. It says it's installed on my computer. Take that route. It's free, you don't have to pay for it. Don't download it, because then you get weird versions of it. And don't do this unless you're on a MacBook. So let's see. I want to close this. Did I close it? Okay, good. So for those people who are on Windows, now this is for you. This is an old Windows XP virtual machine. I don't have anything installed, so I'm going to install it right now. I'm going to show you what I like to install. This will work on 7 and it'll work on XP. Will not work on 8 too well. 8's a problemsome thing. If you're having problems working with 7 on this, then what you want to do is run it as a XP program inside of 7, and then it will hopefully have better results. So we have a couple options here. I'm going to do one that's called code blocks, actually, but we're not going to download this one. We're going to download dev C++, but I want to show you this one as well, because I always forget to. We have this compiler that a lot of students like. It's a little bit, I don't know, I think it's clunkier than dev, and we'll see dev in a few minutes, but this one's called code blocks. So typing codeblocks.org if dev doesn't work for you. But here's the one we want. So let me show you that one. I have it bookmarked actually. It's www, and let me zoom in here so you can see this actually, .bloodshed.net, because we're going to shed some blood when we're doing this here. Don't ask me why it's called bloodshed. It sounds a little bit like, I don't know. Or you can type in dev C++ from a Google search. And the compiler that we're looking at is called dev C++. So if you type in here and just go like download dev C++, you see it says instant download. We'll look at this one here. We'll get to here. So it's Bloodshed Software is the name of the company. It's free, open source. So what we're going to do is go to the download link that's over here, and I'm going to download it live. Hopefully this will work for everybody. What we want, they make a dev Pascal, dev C++. We want dev C++, so we can click on dev C++, and then you can see on the bottom of the screen there's a little bit of thing down here. It says downloads, go to download page. So you have to click on the dev C++ 5, which is the current beta, and then click on go to download page, and you get to this little page here, and I believe it's you can donate it if you want. It's 3.4.2. It's about 9 gigabytes, and it comes with MingW GCC, which is the x86 version of the Unix GCC, which is equivalent to what we get with the Xcode. So this is the one you want here. You can download it. Let me download it actually. You want the one with GCC? Let's see. Download file. And it should look like dev C++ 4.9.9. So I'm going to save it right here on my desktop. If you're having problems downloading, see it's downloading for me, actually not too bad right now. If you're having problems downloading, you don't have internet access, something's wrong, don't worry about it. I'm going to leave it on my desktop. And then at the break, you can copy the file with a USB disk. And then actually our first break will be sort of a bathroom break before lunch. So come up here, give me if you have a USB thumb drive or something, then I can put it on there for you and you can copy it that way. You don't need internet access for the class. It's just for this download you're going to need it. So in a few minutes I'm going to run through the install for you. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll work. We'll see. So download complete. So I'm going to go close this window and I should have it. And here it is right here. It looks like that. It's on my desktop. So I'm going to double click on it. It's this window here. So I'm going to, okay, that's good. Let's just shut this too. Click out of that one. Click into that one. I'm just shutting down applications because my fan's going off. Okay. So I double clicked on the downloaded file and I get this menu here. This is an old XP kind of thing, so I'm just going to say run. Welcome to Dev C++ install program. Please do not install the version over an existing installation. Well, I don't have it on here, so I'm good. So I'm going to go OK. At least I hope I don't have it on here. I try to pull out an old image. So good so far. Installer language English. I'm going to go OK, and I'm going to agree to this GNU public license agreement. Go ahead and do the full. So select the type of install, do the full, press on next, and then select the default directory. Don't move it around. Students get into trouble when they start moving things around. Just put it in dev-c++ and click on install. And then the screen sort of looks like this. You're going to see why I like this in a few minutes. It's very simple, very easy. Do you want to install it for all users? Sure, why not? Yes. And then let's run it. So I'm going to go finish. When I click on finish, notice on the bottom now I have a little icon on the bottom. So I automatically added it to my taskbar, which is good. It says a little warning about this being a beta version. Okay, no problem. I go okay. And then this is going to be that first time configuration that's going to come up for you. Just go ahead and leave the defaults on. And I'm going to use an XP theme on here because I have XP. Actually, I'm not going to use XP theme. I'll just turn it off so it matches whatever it is that you have. And it's going to give you the same window motif as anything else. So what this is going to do is it's going to cache all the header files for you. It makes it compile a little bit faster. It's optional. If you've skipped through this and you said no to this, don't worry about it. Otherwise, if you're doing it right now, go ahead and say, yes, I want to use this feature. The feature is going to take and go through and cache all of the header files in the precompiled form, and I'm going to talk about that when I start talking about the lecture. It makes it run faster, essentially. So yes, create the cache now. You only have to do this one time. Once you create the cache, it's there forever. So this takes a few minutes, but not too long, actually. So this is the lightest weight compiler, much lighter weight than, I think probably lighter, well, Code Blocks is about as lightweight as well. If this doesn't work, take the Code Blocks route. Don't install Visual Studio. We don't need .NET, we don't need Visual Studio, we don't need Eclipse, we don't need all of the heavyweight compilers for this class. We can do everything on a command prompt. So, and this is not a command prompt, this is going to be a GUI program. So then once this is finished in a few minutes here, I'm going to download, actually I could probably download the sample file now. I'm going to go out to the bhacker.website and show you one of the example files. And we're just going to test it, make sure it works. So let's see. Probably should have, I did bookmark it. Here we go. bhacker.com. I'm going to go in, and if you want to do this as well, you may follow along here. We're just going to test the compiler installation so you can see what things look like. If I go into the object-oriented programming with C++, later on this afternoon we're going to look at the, or maybe tomorrow, probably later on this afternoon we're going to look at the first programming assignment. And so I'm going to go into assignments then. And if I click on assignments, we'll see now everything's running slower. This is what I was afraid of. Let's see. Yep, there we go. Assignment number 1, and then I have assignment number 1 dow.c++. I'm going to download this file here. When I download it, you see I have this dev icon now that shows up. It recognizes it as a dev file, so I'm going to save it on the desktop. I'm also going to take this one here as well. These are the two sample files we're going to work with. So we're going to need them later. So I figured, well, not a bad idea to try them out now. So back here, the first time configuration appears to have finished, and I'm going to press OK on it. And then dev is now loading. And we're going to get this little tip of the day thing. I don't like the little tips of the day, so I'm going to press this don't display the tips at startup anymore and close the window. This is the compiler. So it looks a little better than Notepad, and I don't have to exit out to DOS to go GCC something. And it reminds me of the old Visual Studio before Visual Studio got clunky. So I'm going to close this little window because what I've gotten is the file associations. I downloaded this thing called dow.c++, one of my source code examples. Every single one of those source code examples was written in dev C++. They all work in dev, no problem. They'll work with other compilers as well. So I downloaded it, now I double clicked on it. And I'm going to make this, we're not going to worry about the source code right now. I just want to show you how to test the compiler to see if it works. So once I've loaded up the file, I don't need to make a project, which is the other reason why I like this. I can just have one file called myprogram.c++. no project configuration with all these other .NET stuff, and don't need any of that stuff. Instead, what I'm going to do is come into Execute and click on Compile. And I see I have a little compile screen that comes back. Do this and get this result. We're testing the compiler. If you download a C++ file like I just had the DOW or DOW2, it should say done. It should compile correctly. Now when it runs, it's going to throw up a little DOS screen for us. So when I run it, I'm going to go back here into Execute, Compile. Now I can just run it. And you see there's a number 4 written in this little window. You should get a little black little window that comes up. And if you have that, then you're in good shape. It means the compiler is working. When we compiled it, you see I have dow.exe that's showing up on my desktop right now. If I exit to DOS, and I have a little DOS prompt here actually. Now I got to remember DOS commands. Oh no, how do we know where I am? POW. See, I'm a Mac person. Let's see, DOW. No. I'm sorry? Yeah. Okay, so change directory to desktop. No? Oh, man, that's too hard. Alright, forget that part. We do this instead. Where was that? Actually, where is that? It's just C, right? Is this the main C drive? Yep. No, we just do this. Copy it. I'll copy it into C. This is the executable. So now I have DOW. Yeah, so if I exit to C drive here, I should see DOW in here. Yep, there it is right there. So I just type in DOW. And it says 4. So I get the same results. So if you, this is a little bit harder to do because I had to exit to DOS. I had to go find the directory. And then, you know, I was lazy, so I copied it and put it into the C drive, so I had to navigate to a different directory. This is why I like dev, because we're going to be writing command prompt programs. We're not studying GUI in this class. So if you want to run it here, isn't this a lot easier to run? Oops, yeah, to compile. Oh, I moved it. So let's compile it. And then run it. That's a little easier, a little faster. So that's why I like dev. It's kind of... Some compilers put it on the bottom. Some compilers open up a DOS window. And then I have the easy exe file. So then after you get done writing your program, you'd come over here and you'd upload that file. Or compress these two together and upload them together. Or if you create a project, and I'm going to show you projects later on, you can just give me the entire project directory. It's no big deal. And you can give me extra files that you don't need in terms of the source code. But this program here works the same in Xcode, works the same in anything else. So if I have this file here, and I copy it and I put it over here, let's see. And now it's on my Mac partition, and I just downloaded it. It's over here. See, I have a slightly different icon to it. If I double click on here, it's going to bring it up in Xcode. And it's going to color code everything for me and essentially be the same program. Yes?
Where was that example?
Oh, let me show you the example. Yes. So if I go back to the, oops, I was in Windows here. Let's see. If you go back to the bhacker.com website, and close Xcode here. I clicked on it. There we go. So in the bhacker.com website, under Summer 2013, under SEN 909, and go into the Assignments link. Assignments link is the second box here. Yeah, there's 2 of them I downloaded. It doesn't matter which one. You can download them both because we're going to be working with both of them this morning. So dow.c++ and dow2, just 2 different versions. It demonstrates how to use a function in C++, essentially. And while you're here, you might as well download assignment number 1 as well, if you wanted to. Good question. I haven't done it in years. Let's just take a look here, see if GCC works. So this is DOW So let me do it this way. Let's take a look here, actually. This is going to be in my home directory. I'm going to copy it out here so I can exit to a terminal window. Hold on one second. List. Do we have DOW in here? Oh, here it is. Okay, so GCC DOW. Oh, you have to do this. DOW.C++. So then go CC DOW.C. Hold on a second. Okay, well, let me troubleshoot that later. I haven't tried it out, actually. I've been doing Objective-C lately. So, no, it's C-Lang. Let's just do C-Lang. C-Lang. Yeah, good. Let's try this out, actually. It could be, hold on one second. Let me try this here. Open it up with Text Wrangler. It could be that the file itself has some special characters or something in it because it was written on a Windows machine and we copied it over onto a Mac side. Let's take a look here. No, so I don't see any funny characters or anything. Let me take all this stuff out though. Just go here, see out. Just trying to try something now, actually. So let's just do this here. Get rid of get character. Get rid of names. Well, let's leave let's take string out of there too. Okay, let's try this one here. Do a save as test. And stick it in. Yeah, let's just stick it on the desktop. Yeah, I can rename it when I move it over. Let's see, get information. Is it working for you? Yeah. It could be my configuration. I haven't tested this yet. So let's see. G++. Actually, let me try G++. Did you do the directory, the ./ or maybe that's a problem actually?
I'm in the same directory for where I'm.
Actually, G++ just worked. You're right. So try G++ because we're using string.h in there, and we're using I want to say IOStream. Yeah, IOStream is being used in it. Yeah. So we need the G++, the GCC. Actually, GCC though, I will believe. No, GCC is not going to work because of the undefined symbols for architecture. Well, G++ is working. Try G++. Let's try G++ actually on test.c++. Yeah, there we go. So test. Dot out. A dot out. A dot out. Yeah. Oh my God, this is bringing back memories. I haven't used it. Yeah, there we go. Hello world. Try G++. Yeah, it works. Okay, good. I know that there's a command line option as well that you can do it from within Xcode, and you don't need to Xcode running actually to go to the command prompt to do it this way. I have to explore I haven't looked at it in centuries, so I think it's easier. So a word of caution for those people who are going to be using a MacBook like we just did a few minutes ago. If you're going to use text edit, change it to plain text and not formatted text, or download this other program that I've been using here called Text Wrangler. Those people have taken other classes with me. This is equivalent to like Notepad. It color codes everything for you as well. Or you can write the programs in Xcode as regular flat. And if you write them in Xcode, then you get the best of both worlds because you get this nice little color coding that goes on. So I'm actually going to use this file here that I just put together in our first lecture. So I'll leave this on here. So that is how to get your compiler running. If you have not gotten a compiler running yet, on your computer. You can use any compiler that you want for this course. You don't have to use Xcode. You don't have to use Bloodshed. You don't have to use code blocks. Use anything that you want. So, questions? No? Was it too fast? So I'm trying to keep a good pace going on here. Time for our first bio break, maybe? Or no? All right. Let's take a 10-minute bio break, I think, and then we'll start in with our first lecture and start writing some C++ code. Let me know if you're having problems with the internet, you can't get something downloaded, and you want something. This is a good opportunity so that you can get up to speed before we start writing code. So, stop the capture.